let's see. With this one, haven't cut it in half yet. It's a wrench that turned rubber. So maybe tomorrow I'll cut it. What did we cut today? Here's the one with the wood. I cut that the other day. You saw the videos on that guy. Put it together. See how direct sunlight affects the quality of the video. So a chunk of wood got inside this bar, okay? Now that's what you folks see on the internet.
There is no doubt at all that an energy weapon was used to destroy the towers. There is no doubt at all that a very powerful and very successful disinformation campaign has been in progress since the day it happened, really, but especially since Dr. Wood had started to present the energy weapon evidence around about 2006, and this is what I've written up at great length and in meticulous detail in 2 books now. Actually, I published a follow-up book late last year, because we're now in 2018. And so I've been involved in that research for over 10 years, and I've had a ringside seat with Dr. Wood. And I can tell you, for example, that when Dr. Wood made the connection to what is known as the Hutchison effect, some of them may wonder whether what John does is real or not. I can tell you that it is real. It is very real. It's important to understand as a starting point that the towers, as Dr. Judy Wood says, and you can observe this for yourself, just go to the Internet Archive, look at the original news footage of the towers being destroyed, turn off the volume, so you've just got the visuals, and you will see the towers turning to dust, and they actually turn to dust before they hit the ground. Now, the only way that that can happen is for a technology to have been used, a technology that is not bombs, it's not nuclear bombs, it's not thermite, it's not ray beams from space, it's not like that at all. And you can actually prove that to yourself. You don't have to prove, what it is or why it was used or, where it was or who owns it. You can see from the evidence that that was what was used, because when you look at the destruction of the towers, there were no bright flashes as the towers were being destroyed. There was no high heat as the towers were being destroyed. We had these enormous clouds of dust which rolled over people. People were running away, but what happened to them? They just got covered in dust. That was all. They didn't burn up. They didn't get irradiated. Of course, a number of them died after the events because of the toxic dust that they inhaled, which had a pH of 14. And that sort of thing can cause cancer. And people have tried to claim that 9/11 victims have died of radiation poisoning, and that's unproven. That is totally unproven. As it turns out, I think there was a small amount of radiation there, but not in relation to the size that you would get from a nuclear bomb going off. So that it is important for people to establish that, so that you can basically understand that people like Jim Fetzer are ops. They are ops. They are out to deliberately mislead people. As I explained, the towers, they didn't burn up, they didn't slam to the ground, they turned to dust in mid-air. That's actually what happened. Nothing to do with me or Jim Fetzer or Dr. Judy Wood or anything. Just go and look and you will see that that's what happened. It's irrefutable. And it's irrefutable because of the videos, it's irrefutable because of the seismic evidence, it's irrefutable because of what people experienced, it's irrefutable because of the aftermath. Look at the pictures of the aftermath. That is what happened. And anybody that tries to say that the towers didn't turn to dust, or tries to say that all of the towers material was cut into chunks, or tries to say that the towers were mostly empty space by volume, for example, which is another quote that pops up from time to time, or people that say that, the steel was shipped to China very quickly, that's why there was nothing left. Well, yeah, how about there being nothing left immediately after the building had disappeared, not a couple of days later, as some people try to claim? there was no time for them to ship this debris away because it was all gone by 1 o'clock in the afternoon on 9/11, and you can look at that in a number of pictures that are there. So all of those stories are disinformation designed to mislead people, and anybody that promotes them is either accidentally or deliberately lying. I think, essentially Dr. Judy Wood has done the disclosure of 9/11, and if people want to know who did 9/11, I suggest that they write to Science Applications International Corporation and Applied Research Associates. They could also write to Colonel John Alexander. He knows who did it. I suggest that Harold Puthoff knows who did it as well. And people of that ilk, they all know who did 9/11, and they know exactly what technology it involved. The people that did 9/11, they understand much more about what governs the structure of our reality than we do. We can talk about and speculate, but they're actually able to engineer aspects of this, because that's what was involved in the destruction of the towers. And also it appears that engineering of the weather was involved on 9/11, which is another subject which people don't talk about. And I become sort of rather less optimistic. I was thinking, a few years back that, because we had the internet and everyone had broadband and mobile phones where you can basically access any information just about in real time, that this would be a real transformative, force for the whole of mankind, really, or for most of it at least. But I think that there are dark forces running the planet, and this is something, again, that John Lash talks about in his book, and other people have as well. And they seem to know human psychology better than we do, and they're able to manipulate human psychology. And therefore, I think that a lot of the attempts to bring out information have been neutralized. And then we've got this nonsense about the flat Earth, which, that's a ridiculous thing. It's just total nonsense, and it's provably false from your own observation, as I've more or less said earlier on. And that's really took hold, and it's caused me a lot of trouble, and I've been personally targeted with this psychological operation. So that's, dented my confidence in any type of disclosure. When people are going to be manipulated into talking about this nonsense endlessly on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, whenever I post a video about, sometimes totally unrelated videos, actually, I've had it on Facebook. So that's a real problem. How can we convey to people that they have to be responsible for their own thinking and their own actions? That is at what's the basis of everything we do, is being responsible for your own thinking and your own actions, and being cognizant of the effect that you have on other people.
Anyway, that's the famous knife you've seen on the internet, I'm sure. It's now cut in half and showing how it's bonded with the aluminum to stainless steel. Cool, huh?